What is creative excellence? It is a melting pot of how you are recognized. So part of my job is to take our work, the campaigns we make, let's say we make 100 campaigns a year, right? I can take 10 of them into the award circuit. I'm sure a lot of you are art directors or copywriters, identifying, figuring out who you are, producers, and then we make it. We make a 2-minute film and we submit that to award shows. You have our entertainment awards, like everyone knows about Golden Globes, Oscars, Grammys. We have shows that are just as big as that, which is pretty amazing. So Momentum is the best experiential agency in the business. So we only do experiences. We have Coca-Cola, American Express, Sam's Club, Walmart, the list goes on. And we do activations at big events. So I know everyone here has probably been to a music festival. You walk around and the brands have tents and give out gear and they have experiences and VR and whatever you want to do. We come up with those things. We do those experiences.
Amazing. That's such a cool side of marketing because, a lot of marketing is like designing or creating ad campaigns or things, but this is actually interacting with people who are, the customers and also creating those amazing experiences.
Sign up for clubs. And I really suggest this. So advertising club and public relations club. So I had signed up for both of those while I was in school and I was on the competition teams. So I was very aware that there was a larger world while I was still in school instead of thinking, okay, this is just my school, this is my bubble, and I'm just going to go to my workplace, my next bubble. I was aware that there was like a much bigger industry and it was cool to see like different brands and stuff from that angle because there are no stakes at that point. You're just making up all your ideas and the budget is unlimited and there's no scope and there's no client. Like have fun with it at that point. So I really suggest signing up for those clubs. And that was also a huge part of it, networking and making a creative community and knowing you don't even have to network with people to get something out of it. You're just connecting with people who are your peers. But people who are your peers now are going to be leaders at some point. They're going to be able to hire you, give you suggestions, tell you different groups to be in. So I really suggest just focusing on community and networking and showing up places. While I was at PRSSA, I went to grad school at City College in New York. And so I did my master's in branding and integrated communication. Again, I was in school, but I was building a network with everyone who did the program before, who was in the program, everything they set us up with. After that, I went to the One Club for Creativity and I led the education department there. And a part of the education department is the award shows. That is what the One Club is known for. They're like the Golden Globes equivalent to the ad industry, and I ran the student awards. While I was at One Club, I built relationships with all the agencies that were entering the award shows. I then started to be aware of awards positions and going for them. And then I wound up at McCann, which was incredible because it was my first time agency side, but I knew the awards world like the back of my hand. So I was able to increase wins and shortlist there. And then McCann is in the same holding company as Momentum, my current agency. So I knew them and I knew their work and I knew the people there. And when they had awards position, I just went for it. I would say for the first couple of years, like the first 3 or 4 years of my career, I was just constantly learning and being like, I don't know that yet, but I'll show up and I'll try. And people really admire that. You're not going to know what you're doing at first. And there's not always a leader to follow, but it is all figure outable because everyone's in the same boat. Everyone who's new is feeling that way too, not just you.
And I think there's a dissonance a little bit between potential value that somebody has and their actual value in that moment. How much what I like to call is like personal equity that they've built up, and that personal equity can be education, it can be connections, it can be job experiences, it can be a variety of experiences, it can be tenure in something. All those things become personal equity that allow you to go for more specific, more higher paying jobs, things that are more interesting to you. And you may know the potential of your value, early on and say like, I understand what I potentially have, but you have to pay into it in order for that to actually become a reality, right? And so I think that in the very beginning of your career, I know a lot of students who want to define and say, no, I only want to do these types of things because this is the area that I know that I want to do, or I only want to work, for this type of agency. But it's not there yet, right? You have to take kind of all those opportunities, volunteer on some things, help people out, try out different things, and eventually that actually pays into that value that other people will see, and then they will start to be like, okay, cool, now I want you on here and I want you on this.
You reminded me of this book. It's called The Defining Decade, how your 20s, like decisions you make in your 20s, kind of have a domino effect throughout your life. And what stood out was she talked about choosing capital and yourself in the role over money. We like live in this capitalistic society, right? So everything is money motivated, and you might just take jobs because of money, disconnecting the two because the capital might actually be in the title. The title might be better than money. The capital might be in the experience, the travel. Like, for example, at Momentum, a junior art director or junior copywriter, you might be like, oh, the Momentum role is $5,000 less than some other traditional agency. But Momentum, you're going to go to 6 different events a year that
Mhm.
you're never going to be able to buy a ticket to. You're going to be able to live at a hotel for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. You're
Mhm.
not going to be able to do that. And if you have the lifestyle for that, it's like awesome. You're still not going to want to pay for that.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
might,
you feel rich, right? Like,
yeah, I would say definitely sign up for publications and newsletters. I always encourage that. Whatever your niche is, I know someone in here is in film, you should be getting backstage newsletter. Like whatever is the publication for your area, there are always going to be events. There are always going to be things to do. And the organizations to always have something. So if we're in New York, One Club for Creativity always has gallery events. And there's also portfolio reviews, things like that. But just follow industry press and it will guide you in the right direction. I would say always have results, even if they're made up. So let's say you're doing a fake campaign for a skincare brand, right? In your one pager or what you put on the page of the campaign, you need to insinuate results. 1 million impressions, right? Impressions, no one can like ask you how you got that. That's why agencies use it. 40% click through to get the discount, 75% increase. You always want to put a piece of data with whatever your result is. You have to zoom out. Like you have to look at things from a bird's eye view. You have no idea what that person's journey is. You have no idea where they're going, the context of where they got where they are. Also, some people hire people. Some people have teams. Like this is like you comparing yourself to Beyonce, and she has 24 people that help her with things in a day. You're gonna get caught up if you keep comparing. So frame how you're special sauce and how you're different. The person you're comparing yourself to might be an illustrator, but you are a digital artist in some way. That's a really good question. I think for time to take its course a little more, like just be easier with yourself about when you're going to get to your accomplishments, when you're going to get this job, when you're going to go for this thing, because you just never know the circumstances. So when it's right for you, it will be right for you. When the job opens, it will. When it's time to apply for something, go for it, try. I've even had jobs that I've applied for, interviewed for, gone through the whole process, didn't get, and have called me a year later. You can't guess how it's gonna go. I think for you all, it will be to actually apply, actually go for it. We get really caught up in this almost phase.
mm,
And, like this is a step to applying for ABI, and ABI is going to open another door for something else, for something else, for something else. But if you don't apply, if you get scared at this point, why? Just go for it.
I think from a perspective of once you've been 15 years, 10 years in your career, you can see all those stepping stones that led there. But when you're in your stage where you're, in school or graduating, all that is so fuzzy. And it's like there's so many options of directions that it can be a little bit paralyzing at times in terms of what to take. Don't be afraid to take opportunities. You're never stuck in a career track. You can always shift and change. And actually, the further you go in, your opportunities open, they don't narrow. I think there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
feeling that it narrows like, oh my God, now suddenly I'm an advertiser. actually now you just have way more transferable experience that can be applied to other careers. You have the opportunity available to you at any time. Yeah.
at any time and be open for it to be a different idea. But I think you were saying this earlier, like not getting stuck in whatever your major is or
Yeah.
like whatever you decided at one day at 21 to do. Be open. When I graduated, I wanted to like do PR for like a brand, right?
Mm,
If I had stuck to that, I'd have just like a regular PR job at a regular brand. But if
mm,
I was open, okay, now the we're making a left turn and a right and a U-turn and whatever, I wound up where I am. So it's like
mm.
don't get so boxed in.
I love it. Yeah.